Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sara Troy, and my guest today is Carol Chapman. Rise up, heart. That's what she says. She's a conscious change maker and enthusiast. After years of climbing the corporate ladder, Carol felt it was time to find something more meaningful, something that was more impactful. And at the height of her career, she walked away and a radical change in her life started, going down a very profound journey of her own self-discovery, her spiritual path, and her entrepreneurial exploration. So she has a digital site, host of podcasts, Hearts Rise Up. She brings together serious speakers who inspire and support others in creating heart-centered life so they can realize their untapped potential and experience true freedom in the inspiration to fully inhabit the present moment. This is what we are all about here, is living in the now. Something that some people find easier said than done, and it is a journey in order to get into that practice that then just becomes you, to live in the soul, heart, and spirit ignition. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Now, we've had a couple of conversations beforehand, which just took flight on their own, which I expect we will do again today. Hearts Rise Up. I think for so long we have been in heartache and not knowing, why is my heart aching? I may have a good man or good marriage, or I may have a good job, I may have this, I may have that, but why is the heart still aching? And it aches when it's not in its truth, doesn't it?
That's right. It aches when it's not in alignment.
Yeah.
And it aches when we're seeking external validation, when we're seeking validation for things outside of us, as opposed to finding the joy and the truth and what's important to us. In terms of what has meaning for us in our lives. And we look to other people and other things, or a lot of people do, to satisfy what we think love is. And love is not external. Love really starts internally. And it's understanding yourself. It's loving yourself. It's taking care of yourself. It's having compassion for yourself, being patient with yourself.
That's a big one.
Yes.
Well, why can't I feel it now? I've just read this book. I've manifested. I've ordered it from Amazon. Why am I not feeling it? It is a step-by-step thing. It's a patience, but it's also an awareness, isn't it? Tap into the awareness, tune in. What is the heart asking you to listen to? And, it reminds me of that yoga thing, cross leg, come on, hurry up, I haven't got all day. If you don't have the patience, you're not going to get the message.
That's right. And we get so hung up on what we think life is supposed to be like because of what we see and experience and look for outside of us. But when you don't look for things inside of you, then that's when you really start to get into trouble.
Yeah.
And, living a heart-centered life is really about letting love flow freely and not feeling fear. And it's like letting go of the ego. And it's so hard to do because everything that we do, everything that we think comes from the ego. So it's dropping the oars and allowing the ego to take a back seat. And that's so hard.
Yeah. It's also that ego is so much to do with expectation. You're a corporate woman, top of your game. What more do you want? You're making a good salary. Everybody respects you. You're at the top of your game. Everybody would kill to be in your position. Yet you go, this is not enough. This is not enough. My heart isn't in it.
That is so true. And back in the day when I first started out in my career, that was what it was expected
Yeah,
of me.
yeah.
Go get a job, go work for a company, go
Climb
work
the
at your.
ladder.
Exactly, exactly. I didn't know any better.
Hmm.
And even though there were times during my career, and particularly in my late 20s, I started exploring my spirituality, beyond religion, the traditional
Yes.
Orthodox religion. I just started experimenting and exploring different things. But kept, I just kept um, staying lured into the corporate stuff and all the external stuff and what society expected of me, and so I was just driven.
Yeah.
And even though I did have this other sort of life outside of corporate, um, the corporate thing just consumed me, and over time I just got sucked into it, and I just kept going and going and going, and it reached a point where, and there were a couple of times where there was one time I left corporate, but I was still working on the periphery of it. I went out
Hmm.
and did my own consulting, but I was still on the periphery, and I was still kind of in that mental game, and so I really wasn't getting a break from it. So
Yeah.
I got lured right back into corporate.
Yes. Yes.
And I can't say it wasn't a great experience, because there were many times that I had some really wonderful experiences, and I got to travel in some of my jobs internationally, and that was wonderful because you get to see and experience different cultures. But still, at the end of the day, I really lost sight of who I was. I was trying to be something that I really wasn't, and I really didn't fit. I just didn't fit, but
No.
I could never share it with anyone.
Right. No, no, because not many people would understand. We're in an era now where people are so much more, comprehending of that, because our entire frequency and vibration is shifting, and we're elevating. The hearts are rising, and people are realizing, well, hang on, how many people have I interviewed that have left corporate, or left their own companies, and going, I'm so much more enriched and abundant now through taking this journey than I ever was with the mega money that I had before. Um, but I think everybody needs to kind of take somewhat of that type of journey to have those kind of experiences in life, but also to be able to sit back and look at and go, okay, I know what I'm capable of. Imagine if I use that capability in something that was more heartfelt.
Exactly, because I was very successful in corporate. I mean, I rose to the top of the ranks. I was head of HR, vice president of HR, human resources, for Asia Pacific, for Intercontinental Hotels Group,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, that was a huge job. I mean, and it was my whole identity. But
Yes.
again, at the same time, it was consuming me. I was exhausted. Like I said, I felt out of place. And even though I had these spiritual experiences, I could never talk about it
Mm-hmm.
with anyone, I couldn't even talk about even my meditation practice, or even just some of the things that I thought differently, that I knew wouldn't be accepted,
Right.
basically, in corporate. And it reached the culmination. I finally just had to just make a decision, and it was the best decision of my life, because a couple of months later, coming back, we were my husband and I were living abroad. We were living in Asia, in Singapore, and when I finished that international assignment, we came back to the U.S., and within 2 months, I suffered a brain aneurysm.
Mm. Wow.
And so that was an even bigger wake-up call for
The
me.
cosmic two
And
by four.
it was, and it
Yes.
was reaffirming. It's like, oh my gosh, I mean, what if I had been somewhere in the farthest reaches of China or somewhere else in Asia when if and that happened?
Mm-hmm.
I, might not have had the medical care that I needed, because I actually, did suffer a brain bust. I had to have surgery, and I was in ICU for 14 days.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that was a life altering, life changing experience, but it was also very reaffirming
Mm-hmm.
that I had made the decision. But then after that, it was like, well, what am I really going to do with myself? I really felt lost.
Yes. Well, so if somebody's so used to being in charge, busy, never any time for yourself, suddenly you've got all of this time and you realize you don't want to go back to where you were, but what do you do now? And it's kind of part of the brain is saying, well, get productive, get productive, get productive. Who do you think you are sitting around? And the other part of it is saying, no, it's okay, chill, just relax, let things come to you. But there's that conversation going on, isn't there?
It was constant. It was
Yes.
constant. And I probably, that probably went on for at least a year after I had the aneurysm. But fortunately, I'd had a nice severance package from the company to give me that time to really kind of explore and think about what I wanted to do. And it was at that point that I started exploring more. I had always had a love for personal development,
Mm-hmm.
and always loved to just learn as much as I could. So learning and growth has always been very, very important to me. And so I wanted to take the experiences that I had and the skills that I had, and knowing that I could manifest things in my life, in a corporate world, why can't I do it in a
Yeah.
different way?
Yeah. That's the
Mm-hmm.
whole point. Nothing we do is a waste of time. It's only a waste if you don't get the message, and don't change it. But, all the skills that you had before, you're just now applying it to something that is more meaningful and for you more heartfelt. And you don't get there. Everybody knows the ability was there, but you don't get there until you ignite your own heart, your own soul,
Exactly.
your own spirit, and understand why you want to do it. Because if there isn't the big why understanding there, all you're doing is just something else for the sake of doing it, right? That why is so
Exactly.
important. Why does it mean so much to you? Because when you can answer that, then you know you're on the right track.
It's so true, because I was going through this process of my own personal development. So it's when I started to get in. Started exploring coaching and getting certified in coaching, emotional intelligence. I got certified as a train the trainer, and that was over the course of a few years. And I started a new entrepreneurial venture. A company called Brand Ascension Group. And what I was trying to do was to take what I had learned in corporate, but
Mm.
apply it in a different way of really helping organizations to truly understand, okay, what what are your deepest intentions,
Yes. Mm.
and how do you bring the best out of your employees, and how do you bring the best out, bring the heart and
Mm.
soul out of your company? And the heart and soul of your company really are your employees.
Yes.
So I transitioned at that point in time into helping organizations to build their brands from the inside out. So I mean, this has been a journey, I mean,
Yeah.
over the course of 20 years, basically, to where I am now. I mean, I'm even, I would say, light years um, down the road from even where I
Oh,
was
right.
then. And but it's part of a journey. It's
Yeah.
part of how things unfold for us. I wasn't ready to be doing what I'm doing right now.
No, because that is, chapter 7. It's we have many chapters in our lives, and each chapter is there to teach us something. And the first thing is find out what really ignites your heart. What makes you want to pour yourself into it. You talked earlier about your identity was your job. What I'm doing is my identity, because who I am doing it is Sara. And there is, I'm doing something that comes from my heart, soul, and spirit, and we are one and the same. So it doesn't feel like a job. I'm just extending my passion out there. And when you can find that, where that conviction and that passion, but you can actually manifest it into a productive business that helps other people. Now you've got those two beautiful sandwiches together.
Exactly. And so many people right now are starving for it.
Yes.
They are starving for
Yes.
that. They have just been so consumed with all the external noise within this three-dimension world that they don't know how to get themselves out of it. And the only way to get yourself out of it is to go within.
Yes.
To spend
It's
more
an inside
time.
job. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Spend
absolutely.
time on the inner.
Yes.
Get to know yourself.
Yes. Know your why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the first question. And why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Whom does it serve? Is it serving you? How many people do you come across that have a wonderful idea for something and the whole heart is in it, but they never get it to production because they don't have the other side of the business of it? And people look at it, well, if it's spiritual or if it's caring for other people, money shouldn't come into it because money is evil. That is such an old paradigm way of thinking. Money in the right hands, being productive, because we all need money to make things go. That's the grease on the wheels. It's the fuel in the car. If we look at it as that and stop giving it the power that we've been taught to give it, we will understand that, as you said, the heart and soul is in the people that are involved in it, in the people that are receiving whatever services are coming from that. And the money is just the fuel in order to be able to do more. It's heart and soul is the real commerce, isn't it?
It is. And I think if people were to take more time to go within, they would realize what's truly important to them, and then they would tap into their own power.
Yes.
Because so many of us feel like we're powerless. Feel like we're powerless in this world, and even right now we're going through some pretty dark times.
Yep, the old
But
COVID.
Yes, but we're going through a metamorphosis.
Yes.
Metamorphosis.
It's a gift of time.
The planet is changing. It's shifting.
Yes.
And so many of us have been right there on the cusp,
yep,
making it happen. And yes, there are some terrible things happening, but there are some beautiful things happening as well. And if we just embrace it, if we just embrace our own true essence, if we just embrace our own power, if we just embrace our own self-love, that love will spill over to others, and it will spill over to making this a better world.
Yeah.
And the planet itself
it's rejoicing
screaming
right now.
It was screaming, and now
yeah.
yes, it's rejoicing.
Yes. Yeah, I always have sayings that come to me, and mine came to me about 2-3 years ago, is that the universe is going to shake us up, to wake us up, for us to step up and change it up. And I knew this year was going to be a year where something would come that would unite the world. And who knew it would be COVID? One doesn't know how it's going to happen, but has there ever in the history of time where the world has all undergone the same challenge at the same time, where what is the real cure here? It is humanity. It is compassion towards one another. It's being of service to one another. And it's recognizing the people that we've looked upon as a low life, as that they're the true servers. And that perspective change, that looking at life and the gift that it really is, and the fact that we're all in this together, and that this is also a time where you can go in and reflect. You don't want to go back to the old normal. The old normal isn't serving anyone, not serving the planet, not serving the people on the planet. We have to shift. We have to change. And if you want world peace, it has to start with you. So this is a perfect time to shift the changes in you. What a gift.
It's a wonderful gift. And I think if more people were to just take the time to sit back, allow this time, allow things to just gel within them, that they will find that they're going to see and experience. They're going to see the world differently. They're already
Yeah.
seeing the world differently. And quite honestly, we have no choice.
No.
We have no
No.
choice. And um, there is an evolution in our consciousness that
Mm-hmm.
is occurring right now,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people are embracing it and are getting on board with it. And it's one of those things that we need to trust the process.
Yeah.
We need to trust what is happening, and we need to trust ourselves.
Allow.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We pretty well kind of, since were born, we've either had somebody in control of us, or we've been taught to be in control of ourselves. And when you step into the heart and spirit, you realize the only control you have is when you give up control, right? The only control I have is the choices I make over the situation right now. And even abstaining from a choice is a choice. But I don't have control of what the outside elements are, or even how other people react. All I'm accountable for is myself, how I project out what is my meaningful purpose. And the choices that I make, is it benefiting me? Is it benefiting others around us? But this whole thing is that we've got to be in control. If we let go of the fist and open it
Mm-hmm.
up, we will understand there is so much more to receive with open hands as there is with fists.
Exactly. It's about dropping the oars
Yeah.
as well,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing yourself to flow with
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
to uh, to
Trust.
trust, exactly, trust the process, and to not fight it,
Right.
because the more you fight it, the more you resist it,
Yeah.
the more difficult it becomes.
Yep.
And so much right now. There's still a number of people that are living in fear,
Mm-hmm.
and they're living in scarcity. They're living in um, such fear that it's almost crippling them.
Yep.
They're not doing anything. They're not moving forward. And then there are so many people that are really embracing what is happening here, and the changes,
Yeah.
and they're seeing opportunities to be creative in their lives, to explore new things. It's giving them insight into a different side of themselves, spending more time with their families,
Mm-hmm.
and spending more time on things that make a difference in their lives. If you're held up in your house and you have an opportunity to spend time with your family a little bit more, yeah, maybe you get on each other's nerves, but still at the end of the day, you 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 see that appreciation, and you see the joy and the feelings of gratitude that come with it.
What's the real gift? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what are you working for? To provide for your family. And what a wonderful gift, actually, to have time to be with your family,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And to have time just to even get out if you have a yard,
Yes.
and I mean, if you I know there are times where I worked so much, I I never saw daylight.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be up before daylight into the office, and I'd be home after, daylight, the
Sun went
sun.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's not a life.
No,
I say
it's not.
life is about service, service to one another, but there is servitude. And, when you become the servant to your job, the servant to whatever you're doing in life, that is, conditioning again, expectation again, and it's not serving you. And eventually you will burn out and not be able to serve others. But when you are in service of someone, you realize that service comes from deep within you. So the replenishing of you is in your interest, if you're interested in being of service, because you can't give what you haven't got.
That's right. And that's why it's important. And that's one of the things that I try to impress upon people, that it's important to have good self-care
Yeah.
and to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to what's happening in your body, pay attention to what's going on in your mind. When you start to get anxious, when you start to feel aches and pains, that's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sign that you're stressed. It's a sign that you're resisting.
Yep.
You're resisting life. You're resisting things. You're wanting to control, as opposed to dropping the oars and allowing yourself to swim downstream with the current.
Yeah.
So many of us have been fighting the current because we're trying to control. We're trying to force things to happen.
Good luck with that.
And yeah, it's just not the way the universe
No.
works.
No.
Because we're living in limitless potential,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I don't think, one of the things I do, the shows that I do, because I love it when people, in their self-discovery, discover just how strong they are, how courageous they are, and that how many abilities they really do have just from the journey of life. And that when they allow themselves to explore a different path, literally one foot in front of the other, and understand that in their backpack is that knowledge, are those skills and tools that people like yourself share with people. You're not walking the walk, you're not telling them to do it by numbers, but you're preparing them for that journey. And then you go forth on that journey in allowing an exploration. This is an adventure. What is my next chapter? Who will I be in this chapter? Because we discover so much about ourselves in every aspect of life. And we sell ourselves short so much as a human being, don't we?
Yes, because it's our limitations really stem from our conditioning
Mm-hmm.
over time. Oftentimes it's all those self-limiting beliefs that were kind of embedded when we were children.
Yeah.
Because we were I grew up where I listened to my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and I cared about what other people thought, and
Yes.
that was very important to me. And so I didn't and there was a time where I almost felt like I wasn't thinking for myself.
Mm.
I wanted to know, well, what do you think?
Right.
you
Yes.
know
Yes.
and
It's
what do
always to
you
please someone else. That was
exactly
the main objective, please someone else.
Exactly, exactly. But then I soon realized that that wasn't serving me,
Mm.
and that wasn't getting me anywhere. And that's when I really started to um, spread my wings a
Mm.
bit, and to um, kind of drop the oars and allow things to just unfold and not try to force things. And of course, it's hard to lose that conditioning because we've been programmed, and even to this day, there are tendencies that still come back. They surface,
Oh yeah, I
and
mean, the older you are, the more it's inbred in your DNA, and it's one of those programming that you have to
ex-
do. And every now and again, a trigger happens, and you find yourself thinking that, and you go, "Oh, okay, no, that's past thinking. I can let that go." And
right.
some people, "Oh, I'm going back to the old ways." No, they've come up for a reason. Address it. What's the real reason for it? Oh, it's just a trigger of a memory. Okay, great memory, thank you, bye. you know
That's right.
don't become emotional about it. Tap into the emotions, but don't become emotional about it.
Right, and lean into it, but
Yes.
don't succumb to it.
Yeah.
Push through it, and then you'll find once you get on the other side of it, you find that you are empowered
Yeah.
by it. And I still have a lot of limiting beliefs that continue to surface, not
Hmm.
as much as they used to, because I've replaced them with more empowering beliefs about myself.
Right.
And it's not just about positive thinking.
No. No.
That helps, but at the
Yes.
same time, what you have to do is you have to catch yourself when you find yourself spiraling
Yeah.
into these negative thoughts, or these self-limiting thoughts, because it's basically the ego. And the ego is it always wants to take hold. The
Yeah.
ego always wants to be in control. And really what we need to do is we need to tap into what our heart is,
Mhm.
what is most when we tap into our heart, that's where we can, that's almost the seat of our intuition.
Yeah.
And it can bypass the mind and the body, and we can really tap into a higher intelligence when we listen to our heart. And the heart, when the heart's in the driver's seat, it can keep the ego at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the heart and the soul, is the channeling of the truth. The heart,
Mm-hmm.
when it knows it's in truth, will give the spirit wings, and the mind will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. This is a database. It's full of intellectualism. One of the problems is we've been told over the last century or so that our value comes from the head up.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about our intellect. What are the degrees? How important are you? How high are you up that corporate ladder? What do you wear? What do you drive? What kind of house do you have? Judgment, 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 comparison, all along the line. And it is against humanity to be living in that zone, because we are not meant to be judgmental of each other. It isn't a competition. It is collaboration. It is about being the best you can, the best instrument you can, so you can bring it to the orchestra of life. And if you're in that judgment mode all the time, or that competitive mode all the time, that's that ego constantly saying, I've got to be better than the next person. I've got to be better. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? For whom? And who told you where the bar was? Because you reached that high bar. Did you feel abundant? Did you feel enriched? Did you feel whole?
No, you just want more.
Right.
You
Because
know,
you're never satisfied,
you're
right?
never satisfied. You're never going to fill that cup up.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, the ego and the conscious mind is it's limited.
Yes.
It's so limiting. If we can just bypass it and tap into a higher mind that that we are a part of, we're all one, basically. We don't need the intellect, because the intellect is
It's knowledge.
limited. It's
It's knowledge.
knowledge.
But what the heart,
It's not insight.
no, it's not inside. And the heart, soul, and spirit, when it's in the equation, is the wisdom on how to use the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We carry around in our brains so much knowledge that half the time we just never use. But then something happens and you go, oh yeah, I know how to do that, because you stepped out of the head and you allowed that other intellect to come in there, that other intuition. Right? The best workers is people who step into that divine presence, into their heart center, and come from that, because that's where the honesty is, that's where the truth is, and it will reveal what the answer is needed. And sometimes it might be just a piece of the puzzle. It's not to give you the whole answer, it's to give you the next piece.
That's
Because
right.
ultimately I don't want to know everything, then I would know everything, and what's the purpose of life? I want to learn something every day.
Yes, yes. And I want to tap into my own intuition, because that's where my power is.
Yes.
I want to tap into my own heart and what my heart calls for. That's my soul's calling.
Yeah.
And we all have that same power.
Yes, you
We
do.
all have we're limited with our intellect.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need to continue to compete that way, because it's not serving us,
Nope.
because all that serves is the ego.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
we
and
need to
then
get
ego is never satisfied.
that the ego is never satisfied.
Right.
So we got to get beyond that. And I think that is really what is happening with this shift in the earth. I think, I mean, and on the planet here, I think that we're all going to be moving into a more heart-centered type of living, where we're going to be looking at, okay, what is really important to us? What are our values? Don't have to really think about what everyone else thinks or feels or boasts about. We just need to tap into our own heart and what is important to us, and then springboard from that
Yeah.
to create what we want in our life, and create what we want that is going to help others thrive as well. And in fact, the more we do these positive things for ourselves, that's going to um, it's going to spread, and it's going to enliven others so that they can thrive as well, and those around us. So when we improve ourselves, that just goes exponentially outwards to
Ripple
others
effect.
that are, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so we're going to see more of that, and we're already seeing it
Yeah.
right now.
Well, as I said, the universe, has said that they were going to elevate us, raise up our frequency. And the more we step into that frequency, the more we allow it to turn up, the more it's literally opening up our hearts and our soul intellect, and inviting our spirits. And we do that, the higher we go up into this elevation, away from the three-dimensional, the more we step into trust and understand
Mm-hmm.
that the real ingredients is kindness, caring, love, compassion, and passion.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in those, you can't help but everything comes from that core, and it just exudes out because that belief is there. And there is no room for fear or hate, because you can't have fear and hate and feel such love.
That's
It's
right.
oil and water, they don't go together.
Right. So what you're really talking about is creating coherent vibration.
Yes.
So it's a coherence within us when we practice
Hmm.
and we embody these beautiful virtues
Hmm.
of love and compassion and caring and patience and understanding and and helping one another, um, and being open and trusting and honest,
Yeah.
and having integrity, and not
Mm.
fearing
Yeah.
that, and being vulnerable,
Yes. Well,
and
that's
showing your vulnerability.
that's the greatest gift you can give someone in
Hmm.
trust, is your vulnerability. Right?
Exactly.
And yes, you'll have some people who just don't see you or will try to abuse you. But if you're up on that particular plane, it bounces off, right? It's because I've got the old ruler effect from my coaching days. Your 6 to 12 inch ruler. Yes, I'm in inches, not centimeters. So you see how old I go back. And that 12 to 6 inches are the people that live on that higher vibration, that part of higher positivity of love. Your 4 to 6 is the people that are in that transition. They're the people that are wanting to take that journey into love, wanting to understand, how do I embrace love? How do I become love? But your 1 to 3, the third dimensionals, are still living in fear and hate, and they will go after the 4 to 6s and suck the life out of them. So you see
Hmm.
somebody doing so well, and then they fell all the way back again, and that's because of the people they were around. And if you want to elevate your energy, elevate your heart, your love, your meaningful purpose, you really do need to put yourself around the orchestra of love, and not be around the people that have not yet embraced it,
That's
because for
right.
many of them, they never will.
And that's a choice, and a lot of people don't always realize that.
Yeah.
They have these relationships in their lives, and those relationships can be very, very toxic,
Yeah.
and they feel like they're stuck.
Yep.
They can't get out of those relationships, or they can't move beyond those,
Yeah.
and let those go and create new relationships. And but the people who are in the 4 to 6, these are the people that can make or break the difference,
Yes.
basically, and they
Yes.
are ready, they're prime.
Yeah.
And so it's just giving them that opportunity to be, to have the tools to
Yep. The
do what
support.
and the
Yeah.
support, and that's kind of what we're seeing right
Yeah.
now. So many people are sort of getting on the bandwagon of
Mm.
creating communities. And I'm
Yes.
not just talking about Facebook, because
Right.
Facebook is a whole different animal. But I think a lot of people are really thinking now, I want to be part of a community of like-minded people where I can grow, I can thrive. And I know that's part of who I am, and that's
Mm.
part of what I want to create, is to bring together people who are truly serious spiritual seekers,
Yeah.
who who want to live a heart-centered life. And really what that means is, being free to express yourself and not feeling like you're being judged,
Or
being
ridiculed.
or ridiculed, being free to do what you feel is right for you.
Yeah.
It's exploring different avenues of yourself that you haven't expressed before, and it's actually taking better care of
Yeah,
yourself. And that's
absolutely.
where it starts. Once you
Yeah.
start putting together a self-care routine that's going to ensure your own um, growth and development and keep you from slipping back. If you're surrounded by by people that you can learn and grow with at the same time, and you have the same goals and objectives, and you have the same drive, and even if you don't have the same drive, you can still support one
Yeah.
another when you need it. So I
Yeah.
think we're seeing more and more of that, pockets of
Yeah.
communities where people are
It's
supporting.
rather like, your anything on the computer is algorithmed, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, everything. And what it will do is bring you the people that you are communicating with, you are participating with. The trolls, you very rarely get them if you are not responding to them. Right? They may
That's
come in,
right.
don't respond to them, somebody else will, and that algorithm will take it that way. So you can build a fabulous community on social medias, which then can actually lead to people that are locally socially, that then you can get out and support one another. And of course, with the COVID right now, everybody is now looking at working from home, and you're unable at the present moment to kind of get into those physical groups. And it's a wonderful arena to connect with people and to understand it doesn't matter if the person is right in front of you or not. It's really nice to be able to touch someone, hug someone, that presence of being close to them. But we are vibrational creatures, and whether we're talking through a medium like this or on a phone around the world, we're connecting to the energy. We're connecting to that algorithm, right? And that's the
Exactly.
importance. And that's where that synergy starts happening.
And what I've noticed too is some of the people in my life, I'm becoming more telepathic.
Hmm. Hmm.
Where where and particularly if I'm doing things over Zoom
Yes.
or virtually here, and even if I'm even when I'm not doing that, but when I've got my phone, I might text them and send them the note, and they'll come back and say, I was thinking the same thing,
Yeah.
or I was just thinking of you, and I was going to reach out and and share this with you.
Right.
So I'm finding all these synchronicities that are occurring, as well as these opportunities where I'm connecting on a different level. I don't have to be in the same physical
Right.
room to be able to connect or know what someone is thinking or what's
Right.
going on with them.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm, I'm,
You're
I'm,
riding
I'm
the same wavelength.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And when you're on that same wavelength,
Mm.
you don't need to be in physical
No.
contact. And I think that the internet is is just a tool.
Yes.
Basically, it's a
Yes.
tool that is just giving us the opportunity to see what the possibilities are.
Yeah. Because, even when we're not talking like this, we can still talk to people inside of ourselves, sending out those vibrations. That we're still connected. When you've hit that frequency with someone and you've connected and you're on that wavelength, and you can think about them, and if they're sick or in troubled times or worried, you can send them that love and that caringness, and they may not know it comes directly from you, but they know that there's a shift coming from somewhere. And so, let's not ever underestimate the power of our own energy and how far reaching it is. Again, don't limit it to devices, because once we've made that connection energetically, that communication is still going on.
That's right. And actually, spirit is always within us.
Hmm.
It's not outside of us.
No, it's
So
the
if
action
we
of us.
exactly, if we
Yes.
recognize that the divine is always within us, so we
Mm.
have unlimited possibilities, unlimited um, opportunities energetically to connect on different levels. And when you start practicing that, when you start even just shutting your eyes, closing your eyes, and just visualizing
Mm-hmm.
and improving your ability to concentrate and focus, tremendous things and shifts occur. And I find that with myself, and that's one of the things that I have really been working on the last several years, is just my own visualization
Mm-hmm.
and just going within and just tapping into my own creativity, and not even just my own creativity, but the creativity of the universe,
Yes.
basically. I mean, accessing creativity through the universe. It's not my creativity, it's just putting it out there. Okay, this is my intention,
Yeah.
and how and how am I going to get there? Just, you know, show me the way.
I'll
And
get out of my way and
yeah,
I'll follow. Shelley Neglo, who introduced us and who I've done about 5 shows with now, on one of the shows we were doing about sensuality is our creativity. And a lot of people think sensuality is to do with sexuality. And when, of course, when sensuality and sexuality meet, hallelujah. But it's about being tapped into our senses. And our senses, the touch, the feel, the sight, the inner connection, all of that, when it's heightened, when it's present, will always create some wonderful creativity, and wonderful light from within us. And it's just not being, don't just think one dimensionally or, brain to brain. No, it's the whole of you
exactly.
ignited, that you're connecting with people, and then they will feel it. And of course, if you are physically around someone, a simple touch, in kindness and careness and everything else, can be something that can literally ignite that spirit or that warmth and love and heart within them. So it's tapping into our senses, isn't it?
It is, and it really is an energetic essence,
Yes.
basically,
Yes.
sensuality. I mean,
Yes.
it's not exactly charisma, but but charisma is also a form of energy,
Yeah,
that
it's the charm of
magnetism.
vibration.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So it's an energetic alignment that you have within yourself that you're tapping into,
Mm,
and being able to bring that out and allow it to unfold and blossom, um, is wonderful, in terms of your own self-expression.
mm.
And if you just get in tune with it and allow it to unfold naturally, I mean, I bet that was a great episode. I'm going to have to listen
Yeah,
to that
no,
episode.
as with her and Tom, and we did on a relationship. So it's I've done 4 shows with Shelley, and now 3 shows with Tom. So, and Kutumi, of course, his wonderful spirit guide that comes and speaks through him. And, these are people that were living their own lives and kind of realizing, oh, our marriages are doing too well and we're not happy in what we do. It's time for us to each go on our own particular journey and then bring it back to reconnect. And that's what they did. And they've both been given different gifts. And that's the point. If we stop dictating and we stop, but I want to do this and I want to achieve that and this and that, and just go, shut up. Just chill out. Get into your zone and allow. Let the voices come within, not this voice, not the head voice. Let the heart
That's
voice
right.
come out. It it will, I mean, I would say good 90% of everybody I interview are people who have embraced their redirect, who've stepped into the
I
heart and the
love
soul
that.
and the spirit, and the journey that it took to get there. And sometimes the cosmic 2x4, sometimes a nudge, most of the time the push. You're not listening to me, here you go. But it's from their ashes what they become. And that is truly a wonderful gift to society, to the world, because who they are and what they are doing now, how they're vibrating out, the journey that you've taken now, and how you're helping other people comes from a totally different space. And it's just so much more beautiful, more rounded, and more connective, and more doable
It
and
is.
shareable.
And I think it's more embraceable
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And I think more people need to understand that it is. And it can give you great joy, because you're doing something that comes from the heart of who
Yeah.
you are, and that you want to serve others and you want to help others.
It's a meaning,
And
it's a
yeah,
meaning, it's a purpose,
it
it's your
is.
why. If you can't answer your why are you doing it? Well, it's a good paycheck. I've got a corner office. If that's your why, you're not connecting. But when if it's your why, I really enjoy helping people. I really enjoy seeing somebody else ignite. I
Mm-hmm.
really love seeing that person come into themselves. When that becomes your why, that also becomes your enrichment.
That's right. And I think that our why is something that unfolds and evolves as we grow and evolve, because nothing is static
No.
in this world, in this dimension. Nothing is static. It's all dynamic. And so I think we can experience our why, and we can experience purpose each and every day in different things and different tasks, and just different things that we're doing to serve others.
The willingness to explore, to express, allowing the direction to come. And that's not to say you're giving yourself up and going, universe, lead me, I'm a blank page. It's
Mm-hmm.
taking some of those desires that have been given to you from birth, before you were born, and abilities and passion, and letting it out, and blueprinting it, and always say, if you want to write out, the 5-year goal, I don't think 5-year goals work, because you're now limiting yourself to where you can be, when you can be, doing what you can do. But I think if you can paint the picture on the canvas of how you want to feel, and how you want others to feel around you, and the instrument in which you would like to do it in, now you've given the universe that feeling, and that universe will guide you. You've just got to tap in and be aware and allow it to show you the path forward.
And just allow it, and just understand it, that it's not necessarily just a destination.
No,
It's
no.
really just it's a journey.
Yes.
And even though you have a blank canvas and you're creating it, I mean, you can change that
Mm-hmm.
canvas. You can go in and you can adjust things. It's kind of like a vision board
Yes.
going forward. It's forever evolving, and allow it to do its thing for you based on your growth and development, and the things that you're learning, and the insights that you're gaining from the experiences that you're opening yourself up to, and allowing the possibilities, through the creative aspect of your passions and your interests, and your own insights to unfold over time.
Yeah.
And I think so many people constrict themselves. They don't allow themselves to do that, because they feel that there's that they have to fit a certain mold. But I think now many people are realizing, I the 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 mask or the mold that I'm wearing no longer serves me
Right.
anymore.
And
It
this
no
word
longer
normal,
fits.
right? And this word normal, I'm going to get back to normal. What's normal? Were you chasing your tail? Did you have time to breathe? Were you doing something you really love? Was it fulfilling you in more than the areas than just giving you a salary? And, if there's no to any of those, that's the time to start relooking, rethinking, refeeling, and really go, okay, no, but what else is there? What else do I have to give? And these, have a good talk with your mirror. you know, and,
Yeah.
and mirror, it's very hard to pull the wool over your own eyes. Your eyeballs are looking at you and going, is that the truth?
And that's a really good
Yeah,
exercise, is
yeah,
to every morning in the mirror, just look at yourself in the mirror and have a conversation. And
yes,
and the first thing that you say to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror is, I love you.
yeah.
I really love you. I love you so much that I'm going to do everything that I can today out of love just for you.
And you look back at yourself and go, really?
Because
um,
that's where it starts,
yes, that's where it starts. And when the eyes look back at you and go, I'm with you, what are we going to do? Now you know you're actually on the right path.
Exactly. Ready, set, go.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. There's an amber there for a reason, right? It's not just, stop, go. It's the amber is there to get into the right gear and slowly move forward. And I think this is something we're being taught right now, to pause, to slow down. I did my own show on it, kind of hurry up and slow down. And that slowing down is allowing us to take a breath, to reflect on things, to revive it, to review it, to renew it. Because only in that breath, only in that slowing down, can you truly see how you really feel and what really is in front of you. And so we have that gift right now for most people. For people like me, I'm busier than ever. So there is no time for that. And one sometimes just needs the help. You think you can't help anybody until they're willing to help themselves. Until they say to you, Carol, I need to redirect. I need help in getting where I need to go. What can you do for people that can help them on this journey?
Yeah, and I think what's really important that people need to ask themselves is to kind of look back and what were some of the things when they were younger that they
Mm,
dreamt about? What did you
yes.
dream about? You know, that something, a dream that you had, or something that you thought that, you know, was out of reach, but you would love to do. Well, explore that again.
Yeah.
Go back to it.
Yeah.
It's anything is possible if we just believe
Yeah.
that it's possible and
Yeah.
believe in ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of program do you have that you offer people? I know you've got a podcast, Hearts Rise Up podcast, that is coming into play. But what else do you do for people that will help them on this
Well,
journey?
at this point right now, I'm building a community for serious spiritual seekers to come together. And so I'm in the process right now of designing that community. And I don't have all the details at this point, but I hope to within the next few weeks to have more around that, where people can actually come and engage in a private community and help one another.
Hmm.
Um, in the process also of developing our first course called the Heart Resonance Primer,
Nice.
um, which is a really a Kickstarter to help people get into a series of daily practices to um, improve their habits
Mm,
in a variety of areas of their life, in terms of mental habits, um, movement, whether it's yoga, stretching, exercise, um, eating better, environmental harmony, really taking a good hard look at your habits around um, your digital devices, how much time you spend on your digital devices, how much time you spend listening to the news or watching TV versus doing other types of activities like reading or learning something new, as opposed to just, you know, passing the time
yeah.
on, you know, mindless activities. So really taking a look at all aspects of your life and what can you start to incorporate and helping them create more structure to make that happen. And of course meditation is one of the key things that's part of it, helping people to learn how to quiet the mind and to center themselves and to focus and you can, and it's a very basic series of practices of getting people to, you know, begin to incorporate things in their life. And if you really are serious about changing your life and really finding more balance and internal alignment and really developing more heart-centered life, then you need to build the foundation. And that's what
Yes.
this course is. It's just creating, it's the foundational framework, and then that's the springboard to go into more advanced and more in-depth things that you can do within your life that's going to enrich your life. And I currently have a free offer on the website that is a guided meditation that helps people access their own intuitive wisdom. um, so it's takes them on a journey to really tap into their own intuition and their own inner guidance. And it's got some beautiful background music um, that so it's a great meditation, and we've had quite a few downloads and we've had some great feedback.
Right.
So so some of the those are some of the things that we're working on right now. So we're really in the process right now of building a community and developing some courses that people can take to develop their own personal growth, and really evolve their into their own personal awakening of what that awakening is for them, and the types of things that are going to bring the most meaning and heart in their life, that's going to take them to the next level of really experiencing life more fully, being more free, and living in the present moment, really
Right.
living and enjoying the present moment, having more open, trusting, and empowering relationships, and feeling more empowered in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the Hearts Rise Up is relatively new. We've been around a couple of years, so we're still in the process of really developing a series of courses and a community for others to be a part of.
Yeah, and it's under Carol Chapman, right? .com?
No, it's under
Okay.
heartsriseup.com
Okay.
right now. Heartsriseup.com. And the we've also got a podcast. The podcast really showcases stories, a lot of interviews of people who've gone through significant challenges in their life,
Mm-hmm.
and how they have risen to the challenge and what they've learned from them.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest feedback that we've gotten from people is they love the stories.
Yes.
They love what they're
Yes.
learning from others, because it's a lot of times it helps them to really be able to relate to things that's happening in their own lives,
Yes.
and knowing that they're not alone, and there's others out there that are dealing with similar challenges. And even if it's different challenges, people's personal stories, I mean, everyone loves a good story, especially one where we've just overcome some significant adversity,
Yeah.
and how we've blossomed and come out of it on the other side a better person, and we're moving forward in our lives.
Mm. The reason I do what I do too, we learn best from those that have taken the journey, those that have gone through the process, those that have become our guiders, our teachers, because there's that relatability. You relate to them. They've either gone on a similar journey, or you can feel, who they are, what they are. There's that connection there, and it's, as I said, not always painting by numbers. But it's like, you devise this course, or you devise your program out of your own experiences, and it's there with what you would like to have had in your own growth. And so you've created it in a way that's going to help other people on their journey that are just simply flapping in the wind right now and not sure where their next step is going to be. So it's very important to have that kind of guidance. And you're talking about meditation and breath. Meditation isn't always going sitting down silent in one room. It's how to meditate and find your breath amongst the chaos,
That's
in the
right.
noise. Because when you've mastered that, and you can take that deep breath, no matter what the tornado is around you, and find that clarity, you will find your way out of the tornado, but you probably even find a way to stop the tornado.
Exactly. And you find a way to make sure that you keep yourself centered
Yes.
and balanced and in
Yes.
alignment,
Yes.
and energetically.
Mm.
Because once the energy gets out of alignment, then that's when all of the fear, the anxiety, the depression, all of that surfaces, and it comes roaring back. And so it's sort of like being in the eye of the storm,
Yeah.
and not and allowing all that to dissipate around you, and not get caught up in
Yeah.
the ferociousness of the storm, but just sit in the eye of the storm, and you can see very, very clearly
Yeah.
what your next
Yes.
step is.
Yes. When we become part of the storm, you're in it. You can't make any decisions. You can't find your way out. You're just in that swirl. So taking that deep breath and just being still, rooting yourself, coring yourself, then it's allowing the storm to come around you. And as it does, the clarity, the understanding, all the exit is there. But that is the inner peace, that inner knowledge that we talk about. It's the answers are always within you. You're channeling them all the time, but you're not going to hear them if you're dictating or in chaos or demanding. You have to surrender.
That's
to
right.
yourself.
I think that's a really good term, is surrender. Because
Mhm.
when you're surrendering, you stop resisting.
Yeah,
And when you stop resisting, then everything starts to flow more naturally in your favor, basically,
yeah,
in your direction. And you don't have to succumb to all of the noise that's out there. But it takes some effort,
yes, yeah,
and no one said it was easy.
nope.
Nobody said nothing is easy, but you see how many people in this world have overcome some significant challenges,
Hmm.
and those are the things that we can learn from. And you just have to believe in yourself, that you can do anything you set your mind to, that you just know that you have unlimited power if you just believe, and you do tap into that core energy,
Yes,
that core centering within you.
that's the very important thing, because it is the core of you.
Yes,
And
that's the seat of your power.
yeah, and then people will say, I want you to do this and I want you to do that, and your core goes no. And you don't need to say, well, why not core? If the core goes no, it's like the hand on the chest pushing you back, not pushing you forward. Just go with that. Understand, no, it's not for you. Maybe for someone else, not for you. When the core really opens up and says, this feels right, open up to it and embrace the experience. Even if you may not know what it will reveal itself as you walk forward.
That's right. I mean, and it's so important for us to trust our own intuition,
Yeah.
because if you don't trust your own intuition, the more you start to trust it, the more you will know what it's saying to you, and you'll be
Yes.
able to recognize the true inner voice that is
Yeah.
your intuition versus
The
the
doubt
little
voice.
voice, that little voice, the fear based,
Yes.
the ego,
Yes, but what
the
if? But
chatter,
what if?
yeah, what if,
Yeah.
exactly. So I
Sit on
mean
your butt.
I think that's been the problem with so
Yeah.
many people, is that they, that's some of the things that I hear the most with clients is, I don't know how to trust my intuition. I don't know, you know, what is real and what isn't, in terms of what is right for me. Well, the way how I explain to them, from my perspective, I know when something is right for me when it makes me expansive. I feel good. I feel
Mm-hmm.
joyful. It feels right. It feels good in my body. When something isn't right, or if I think it's my little voice that's speaking to me, I feel contracted. I
Yes.
feel anxious.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't know, and it doesn't, my body, you know that feels it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the key word, feel it.
hmm,
If you're feeling the doubt, maybe it's just saying, no, not this path, not right now. But, this is where I talk about that clarity. When you step into the feeling of something, and all of a sudden, the knowingness of how to do it, or the people to do it with, or you can see the light in the tunnel to walk forward to, that is the feeling that's going to open up the mind to knowing what it needs to know. And that's when you can confidently move forward. And when that little voice goes, yes, but what if, what if, all you need to do is change the tone. Instead of, well, what if this goes wrong? Is a, what if this is the path I meant to take? Right?
exactly.
And what tone is it coming into you? Is it coming from your own fear, your own negativity? And if you change the tone of it, what's that saying to you now?
Exactly. And that is right there. I mean, just tells people that, just feel it in your body,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just trust your own knowing. And if you know that this feels right, the how will take
Yes.
care of
Yes.
itself.
Yes. And if it's feeling right and you're like this, it's not right.
That's right.
Declench,
That's
because
right.
it can't flow through you, within you, and from you if everything about you is tightened up. So
Hmm.
just that breath, that inner meditation of opening up and letting everything flow, now you begin to know.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So your course is in development right now and will be
Right.
coming along very soon. And this is, for the people who know they want to take a different path but don't know the how. And of course, if they know why they want to do it or know that they need to do it, you now have got somebody you can work with. Right?
Exactly.
You can't work with people who are not yet there. This is the permission they give you because they come to you and say, I don't want to go back to that life. I want to move forward to another life. Don't quite comprehend what I'm doing right now. I need help in understanding it. And that's what you're there for.
Exactly. And if people want to stay informed, they can sign up for, there's a couple things. Weekly, we send out a note from your higher self,
I like that.
which is a nice prompt of just,
Yeah.
something simple.
Little nudge.
Yes, it is. And then the next day after, we usually will send out a blog post or a podcast episode or some sort of news, and we're always keeping our our listeners and
Engaged.
those engaged
Yeah.
and informed.
Yes.
So sign up for our newsletter, and we'll keep you informed as to when the course will open up and when the community will be opening up.
Lovely.
But it will be opening up this year and very soon, in the next few months.
And in the meantime, they can get on your list and they can be a part of the daily thing and listen to some podcasts. They can start the process. They don't have to wait. They can start the process.
Right. The time is now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't wait. Just, now, just take action now and move forward. It's a great way to move forward with your life.
Yeah. Actionism. Absolutely. Step into it, right? It's, you don't know where the path is going to lead you if you're not willing to walk it. And you're not meant to have a manual. You're meant to have common sense. Walking too close to the cliff, find your balance or something to latch onto, you may fall over. That is the common sense fear, right?
That's right.
But the fear of the unknown, instead of being afraid of it, be in wonderment of it.
Exactly. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Lean into it.
Yes. It's exciting.
Explore it.
Yes.
Explore it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, exactly.
You
you might end up happy. And I know a few people who love being miserable, so this isn't the path for them.
No, exactly. I mean, that's what we need to do, is we just need to trust our own intuition and just practice it more.
Yeah.
The more you practice trusting it, the more in tune you'll get with it.
And the more it becomes you, and you become it, and you are one. And then you are one with the universe, because we're all made of the same thing.
That's
and you're tapping into that universal love, and you're resonating with people on that same wavelength. Your heart vibration is ignited, and now you are open to what's before you, and you can explore what is your next adventure.
Exactly. So if you listen to your heart, listen to your heart and stop listening to everyone else's heart, because that's their
it's your beat, baby. Get into your beat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wonderful. How else can people get hold of you? So you have your site.
Yes, have the site. We've also got, they can reach us on Facebook. We have a Facebook community. Hearts Rise Up is the name of the community. We also have a Facebook page, a business page, Hearts Rise Up. We're also, I'm on LinkedIn, and it's easy to find me. Just, linkedin.com / Chapman Carol. Nothing in between those spaces.
Right.
And email, I can be reached at hello@heartsriseup.com or carol@heartsriseup.com.
Right. And of course, you're on Instagram.
On Instagram, Hearts Rise Up, hearts_rise_up. And then the podcast is on all of the distribution channels. It's Hearts Rise Up, and it's easy to find on Apple Podcasts, and it's on all the other, as I mentioned, distribution channels. And it's also, we have a link on our website as well.
Right.
On our main homepage.
So, right now you've got your musicians, and you're in practice conducting this new piece that the orchestra will be producing in a very short time. And that's the orchestra that's going to resonate with everyone and invite them, to come in on that wavelength, to come into that zone, when it lifts up their heart and it invites them in. And the bottom line is just don't be afraid of change. We have to change. Even if we're happy, we're always in the flow of change, because life is always about taking us down the next river, flying to the next cloud, whatever we need to travel to. Be willing to take the journey, because when you do, that's when you truly understand who you are, why you are, and what you're here to do, and why it's so utterly awesome.
I think that's a great way of wrapping things up,
Mm-hmm.
because really the only thing that we can depend on is change. That's
Yes.
really the only constant in our lives.
Yes.
So the important thing is just to embrace it, and to know that change is going to take us, down the path, and just allow it to unfold naturally, and don't run away from it.
You can't
Lean
run away
into
from
it.
yourself,
Mhm.
right? You can numb yourself, you can, try and shut yourself down, but I'm sorry, there's always that inner child, that inner soul that's coming out and saying, no, this is not what you're here for. Stop running away from me. I'm pretty awesome. Let me out.
That's right. And if there's something inside you that is burning or yearning,
Mm-hmm.
listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
explore it,
Mm-hmm.
go for it. Don't shut it down, because it could be the next best step that's going to take you further on a journey of really living a more heart-centered, loving, um, and exciting life,
Yes.
that fulfilling life that
Yeah.
gives you more joy than what you're experiencing right now. And don't allow others to tell you what you think.
No.
You don't need to listen to others. Think for yourself.
Yes.
And
I mean, you can certainly inquire with people like yourself on
sure,
tools and skills and knowledge or how to apply it to yourself, but don't let the naysayers say to you, who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? You just got your head up in cloud nine. That's their talk. That's what they're saying to themselves. It's not what you are saying to you. Only listen to what you need and reach out to the people that can help you on that path. Leave the naysayers with their own doubts. Don't take their doubts on.
that's right. So just be true to yourself. That's
Yeah.
probably the most important thing. And take on board whatever you feel like you need to. But at the end of the day, you are in the pilot seat. So be the
Mhm.
pilot of your own life.
Yes. Yep. So it's riseupheart.com, Rise Up Heart podcasts and everything else. And it's raising our hearts into a higher vibration of love that gives us a better direction in everything we do and who we are as human beings and the purpose of why we're here. So thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for taking your redirect and doing something that is more heartfelt and igniting other people's hearts right now. We need more people like you out there. Just the inspiration or the invitation, but most certainly, if we don't know how, you've got the simple steps that will just help them discover how. And right now, it might just be listening to the podcasts on your site, or it might be those wonderful daily affirmations, or other things that you've got there to share. If you're wanting to dip your toe in one toe at a time, that's okay, right?
Exactly. And Sarah, I just want to say thank you so much for the work that you're doing. This is just amazing. The podcasts, the shows that you're hosting, and the people that you're bringing, and the people that you're bringing on your shows, but also just the topics and the things that you're sharing. I think are just wonderful things that people need to experience and listen to more of. And I just want to say I appreciate what you bring to the world.
Ah, bless you. Thank you. It's very easy when I get to interview people like you. All I'm doing is a knowledge sharer,
Well,
sharing
you're
that wonderful knowledge out there that's going to make a difference in the people's lives.
you're awesome at what you do.
Ah, thank you so much. Thank you. Bless you. So, you've heard from Carol today on those first steps and the why. You don't have to stay in something that you don't want to stay in. It's okay to leave it. Don't wait for the cosmic 2x4 to come. Start tuning in, start looking in. look at her meditation aspects and start applying it to yourself. There is always a solution, there's always an answer, and there's always someone there to help you. It's first and foremost how you're going to help yourself receive what you need to receive in order to move forward. So be kind to yourself, learn to love yourself, spread your wings, and take flight. Until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.